Hi, folks. This is Dave. Hey, when it comes to giving information about the LDS Church, I like to give many people who were formerly Mormons who want information. Maybe they're in different, countries. They don't know that much, or in the United States. Here in Utah, we get to know this information quite quickly. Hey, I was an LDS missionary for a period of time, and I must tell you that, when I was out, for 60 years, the only way we communicated as an LDS missionary was during the period of time of Mother's Day. We could contact our mother, or on Christmas morning. We could call up when you're on a mission. Many former missionaries know that's the case. You've had that for 50, 60, 70 years, whatever it may be. And I got to tell you now, there are many things that are changing in the LDS Church. And I've said this before, we have a new sheriff in town. He's seeing the realities of a lot of things that are going on, especially with the missionaries. About 4 or 5 years ago, they had about 85,000 missionaries. Now it's 65,000, and it's shrinking more and more. And they changed, obviously, you probably know that, to the guidelines of the age. Now, when you're 18, right after you finish high school, you go out on a mission. And unfortunately, it's really hard for a lot of young kids who are going out, who are becoming elders. For sisters, they're, the men are 18. I believe the sisters now are 19. So what happens is that they don't have that much experience. Many are homesick. Many are coming back home. That's what I'm hearing a lot from sources. And it's a big issue, because the reality is, when you're 18, you don't have that experience. You go to different faraway lands, and you're by yourself. You're with another guy. You don't know who or that a girl might be, and you're just like, okay, I'm sort of homesick, I'm lonely, I'm depressed. And so this has been going on for a number of years, and many can't deal with it. These missionaries, young missionaries, are just, I'm so homesick, I'm so depressed, I need my mom and dad. So, but in the past, many missionaries had to deal with this issue. So a new change just came about yesterday in the LDS Church, and they created a new guideline. I just want to say, why wasn't this, this way for the past 50, 60 years? Why were they so much in control of the missionaries, to make sure that they couldn't talk to their mom or dad or whatever, their families? I mean, I remember that hearing from missionaries, and I'm sure you have too, where, maybe the mom or dad could have died and the missionary was in a different land, and they didn't feel compelled to return home and see the funeral of their parents, and that was very hard. But anyway, new changes. As I said before, we have a new sheriff in town. So the first presidency of the LDS Church just came up with announced an update to the guidelines for people who are missionaries to call their parents effective immediately. So the missionaries may communicate, this is now the new announcement, with their families on their weekly preparation day via text messages, online messaging, phone calls, and video chat, in addition to letters and emails. Previously, missionaries relied primarily on email and letters for communication. And it has right here, the first presidency, Elder Uchtdorf declared this too. Regular communication with their families is an important part of a missionary's service, said the first presidency in a statement. One of the major purposes of this adjustment is to encourage families to be more involved in the missionary efforts and experiences. And I just want to say, is that really the truth? I mean, is it really the truth? Is it something that they're sharing, or is it the fact that many missionaries are homesick and they're depressed, and a number of them are returning home and they're trying to stop the bleeding? I just want truth. I think it's great that they're doing this. I'm not against it. I think it's a good thing. I just have to ask the question. So for 60 years before that, was the first presidency or the prophet of the church leading people, missionaries, astray, that they couldn't do this? This is what I'm saying. It's a progressive church. There's a lot of changes. This is a smart idea, but I think they're literally trying to stop the bleeding of the missionaries going home and not having them so depressed. Anyway, new news again here in Salt Lake City with the missionary department making dramatic changes. It's a good thing. I don't have an issue about it, but just want to let you know. God bless.